Hey, good morning, everybody. How are we doing today?
Beautiful day. Beautiful day. Great way to end the week. That is not a post FabCon week. It's very quiet in comparison to last week.
Yeah, you're telling me. Good morning, Prachi. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very good. And you?
Oh, best day ever. Oh, good to have you here. And we have
Thank
Andrew
you.
on. Good morning, Andrew. How are
Good
you
morning.
doing?
Doing great. Happy to be back.
Oh, good. Good to have you. Good to see you. And it's good to see everybody in the live stream. As Jared said, this is now 1 week post FabCon. So please, in the comments, let us know the one feature you're most excited about. Now we've had a little time to look it over and all the updates. What's one feature or session or one thing that you saw that's coming out that you're most excited about? Leave that in the comments for us to see. Okay. Uh, it's good to see everybody today. Prachi, this is your first time on the live stream, yes?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. What can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah. So I am Prachi from Dream IT Consulting Service. I am from India and I'm working on, I am a Power BI architect and Microsoft Fabric architect. And I am working since last 5+ years in the Microsoft Power BI Azure and now in the Fabric world.
Oh, that's fantastic. Welcome, Prachi. You're going to be showing us some translytical flows very shortly. So excited about that. I think I'm now saying translytical right. It's taken me a while, but I've incorporated that into my verbiage. Excited about that. Andrew, good to see you. This is your second time on the show?
Yeah, second time on. So I was on last December, but I'm always in the chat. And yeah, Chris asked if I could hop on occasionally and join the panel here. So really happy to be back. I love Fabric Friday.
Fantastic. Good to have you, Andrew. And Andrew, where do you work? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm out of Bellefontaine, Ohio, and I am an analytics manager for AGC Automotive. So we do automotive glass manufacturing. So we've got a small team, and we use Fabric and Power BI for everything every day.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it. And while we're going around the horn, Jared, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Jared Keene, your resident data bard. Currently working at Baker Tilly as a data architect consultant, but been really consulting for over 10 years now. Past couple years have been very heavily in Fabric and all things Azure data. Really love it, but especially as of lately, trying to get more into the public speaking space to help people, especially data professionals, be more efficient in the work that you do, because we could all use a little bit of extra time to do certain activities. So figure out ways to help people be more efficient on the simple stuff, and we can focus more on the complicated cognitive thinking stuff.
Well, fantastic. And Jared, are you speaking this weekend at SQL Saturday?
I am. It's been a busy week for me. Just a couple days ago, I forget, Andrew, if you were there too or not. Future Data Driven Summit was a couple days ago. Recordings for that will be coming out in the coming months. There was a lot of good content, so keep an eye on that conference, because the recordings, there was some wonderful presentations there. This weekend, not sure if anybody will be there. Well, I know Aaron in the chat will be. SQL Saturday, Minnesota, happening in Minneapolis tomorrow. Pre-cons theoretically kick off in about an hour and a half, and then tomorrow is the big day.
Yes, big day. Excited for you. Excited to hear about that. Boy, Prachi, you have a lot of fans in the chat here. Exciting to see all your supporters here. Holy cow! Look at all this, boy. That's gotta feel good, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. No, Prachi, before the live stream started, you were telling us about a little bit of your journey and starting with Power BI and then working with Fabric. Can you tell us, tell us more about yourself and your background?
Yeah, so I started my journey from the Dream IT only, and like from here only, I started. I know about what is Power BI. I know about Fabric, Azure thing also, like the Microsoft system. Whatever I learned in my journey, the main thing I learned from only. And here I started as a Power BI as a data analyst. So starting, I worked as a data analyst and using the Power BI tool here. And later on, as I give you brief already. So the fabric project, like how I came in the fabric, like the fabric development. So in the April 2023, we have a project that we need to migrate in the in the Azure. But at that time, as Jared, we talked a lot of budget thing happening and lot of approval need to be done. So we did not get the access to kick start of that project. So we are waiting, and in the 23rd May 2023, the fabric announced. So like as there we are the Power BI developer, and we have the workspace, and the Microsoft provide the free capacity there. We can test and do the things. So in the June, like exactly in the June, we started the pilot project. And June, July, we started the pilot project, and we take the confirmation from the client, and officially we started our project, I believe, in the end of July or in the starting of August. And before the Microsoft Fabric GA, we did the deploy. Like the production data is ready to deploy. We just waiting for GA, and then we purchase the capacity and just and we completed that project in the mid of April 2024, and that is very successful project. And in that, we did not take only one kind of source. Like we play with multiple type of data. Like we bring the data from the SAP system, from the API, did the web scraping, did the from external software as well, like use in the virtual machine in picture, because at that time the SAP connector was not there. And as we cannot do the dynamic IP address thing, dynamic IP address, so connect with the SFTP. We need to whitelist some IP, so we bring the virtual machine in the picture. So lot of things we did, like lot of problems, challenges we face, and we solve those challenges. So and at that time, because right now, if we know, like we can pause the capacity, we can resume the capacity. At the initial level only, like my CTO Rajan sir already created the code to resize, like to automated resize the capacity, and like instead of manual, we need to pause and resize the capacity. They write like he is very he is expert. He is super expert. So he write the logic app code, and using that we can pause and resize, like restart our capacity.
Oh, that's
So yeah.
fantastic. Now, I think one of the comments you had, or we were talking about like why you like working with Fabric, that I thought was really insightful. When we were like pre-gaming this conversation, right? So, what's your favorite aspect of Fabric?
Yeah, so favorite aspect is because as a Power BI developer, what I feel like I don't have the things in my control. If yeah, I don't want to make my Power Query heavy. Like we can do the ETL thing, the basic cleaning thing, but I don't want to do the all things there, and I don't want to depend on the data engineer. At that time, like suppose I need to create one view. So for that, I need to go to the data engineer, and I will send the request, and they will come back when they will have time. And meanwhile, I need to wait. I don't want to wait. So use when the fabric come in the picture, now I have control, like everything in my control. If I need to do this within 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes, I will create the table, and the table will be ready for the analysis. So this is the thing that I like the most. Like everything I can do, I don't need to go to any data. And now I am data engineer. So I am data engineer and data analyst. I don't need to go to the data engineer and do this stuff. They will define the timeline. After that, they will complete the task. So I can do my own self. So that is fascinating me.
I think that's fantastic. You know, I'm gonna agree. I think that empowering people to be able to take on the tools and the capabilities that they need in order to deliver our solutions is one of the big promises that Fabric offers, right? And especially you could do it in a sustainable, non-tech debt related way where this code and your solution can truly scale and not become a burden that saddles organizations if done right.
Yeah.
Andrew, any comments on your favorite aspects of Fabric so far?
Well, I'll agree that always a challenge to work with all these different data sources. SAP you mentioned, which was, yeah, we deal with that as well. It's a lot of fun. But favorite part of Fabric, I would say, is just being able to do more with capacity, right? So at least for our team, it was we had capacity, and then it was like one day, Microsoft is telling us now we can do all of these other workloads with the same bill. So I love the fact that I have one bill every month, and we can run all of our lake housing, our Spark, our SQL, our Power BI, everything together in one place, and we don't have to tie together all these different Azure services that we did before.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. I'll say, and this is going to be a name drop, but this is true. I was talking with Arun Ulog yesterday, and I had asked him. I said, "What are some of the biggest challenges people have, or hesitancies they have with Fabric, and what's the overcoming like rationale for why people are moving over and excited about it?" And he's one of the he listed off like 10, but the big one that jumps out to me is he said like companies were doing evaluations of like, okay, so I'm using all these different components, right? Like I'm using uh Informatica to manage my ETL. I'm using Databricks or Snowflake for my storage. I'm using Tableau for my reporting and front end. I'm using these other apps. And he said, okay, well, what's your efficiency? What percentage of the time that those services are up are you actually using compute, using those solutions? And it's not easy to figure it out. And he said they did a deep dive study and they realized that they have a 6% utilization on their compute. That means they're using only 6% of the compute that they're paying for across all these services, which is awful. And he says, well, now Fabric, you get one block of compute that you get to use for all of your things. So instead of having to have all 4 different sets of compute up and running, you could just have one that you have up and running. And he goes, well, it's not necessarily perfect, but he said the studies were like 24 to 28% or something like that efficiency in using your compute. It's like a 4x improvement in your utilization. So that's amazing, right? Talk about ROI right there. Yeah. So Andrew, I love that. I agree with you completely. Uh, Jared, what is your favorite part of using Fabric?
I feel like especially this time of year, which is anytime that it's like the week or two after the major Fabric conferences,
Mm-hmm.
is where you start seeing the innovation, people starting to do new things with Fabric. And think about that. It's a week after these announcements come out, and people are already starting to use these features to change the way that you do your work. How many other platforms out there, how many other architectures, when we go to early days of cloud or pre-cloud, could you do something that quickly after something's announced? Very, 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 very rarely.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just a fantastic ecosystem where you're doing everything in one spot, as Prachi talked about, and you're able to then start tacking on the innovation immediately into what you're doing as soon as it is capable. That's a huge opportunity to get organizations not just in the mindset of cost savings and doing your routine batch processing, but chances to think outside the box. Think
Yeah.
about your data problems differently and try to solve it differently. And that's where Fabric, I think, makes it much easier for people to turn on that innovation light bulb than other products.
That's an excellent point. And honestly, that leads wonderfully into what Prachi's going to be talking to us here today. Yeah, it's
Segues.
almost like we prepared this. We are not that organized, but Jared is that smart. Prachi, what are you're we're on? You're going to be talking about translytical flows, right?
Yeah, right.
What the heck is a translytical flow?
Yeah. So can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as like why this is needed. Let me explain the translytical. So what is translytical? Translytical is transactional plus analytical. So what in the current system we have the two major system we have, the OLTP and the OLAP. So lot of transaction happening in the backend. Like if in the for example for the card swipe, lot of transaction happening in very frequently, and on top of that we are doing the analytics, and analytics will be based on the large query and the aggregation. So we are doing the dashboard, and to make the analyticals in the back end, the our ETL pipelines in there, and we need to wait overnight, and the next day we can see our latest data. So in the current like this is our two big system, two big super data set. Now we have in one single data set. So we have in the Microsoft Fabric announced the translytical task flow. There we have one data set. In that we can do both things. We like both system comes under the one data set. So we can immediately do the transactional, then we can see the analytics on top of them with 0 second delay. We can see the real time data handling. For example, I have the data, I have the sales data and the target data. So at that time, suppose the executive feel like, yeah, this target value is not correct because this season is the our festive season, or this is our holiday season. So the target should be more. So at that time we can create the flow like this. So if they want to update the target value, they don't need to go back to go back to someone or go back to different environment. They can go back to in the same environment. We can provide the place there. We can select which category or which salesperson they want to update the target. They can update the target, and immediately that target value will be reflected, and they can see the comparison versus actual versus target. So translytical task flow is game changer here. So
Wow.
here the traditional BI, like how like here the translytical task flow, the traditional BI and the let me show the translytical BI. So in the current BI system, in the current Power BI, we have the view only mode. We cannot write the things. We can write the thing. Maybe for that we need to include the other platform. We need to include the Power Apps to provide the write back functionality to so that user can enter and that will reflect in the dashboard, or to support that the data refresh, because we need to refresh the data if we hit like we write something in the data. For that we will bring the Power Automate in the picture. So we need to, yeah, in the Power BI, because micro Power Apps and the Power Automate are the part of Microsoft Power Platform, so we can embed that here. But for that, for that we have a separate cost. We need to maintain that. The separate license cost will be there. The complexity will be there. For that we need the separate, the Power Apps developer will be there, who will do the yeah, Power Apps is low code, but there will be separate developer. The license cost will be different, and the user who will create the who will create our Power Apps. So there was challenge there. But here in the after the translytical task flow, we can earlier, we can analyze and we can just exit. We are just having the view only mode, where we can see our report, where we can see the analysis only and make the decision. But here we can analyze and do the action, whatever we want to do, based on the whatever we define, whatever in the flow we define. So here what we can do, we can do the trigger. Like if I want to send the notification, earlier also we are able to do the send the notification using the Power Automate. But here under the same platform in the one product only, we can add the functionality here using the user defined function. We can send the notification as well. We can provide the add, update, delete functionality as well. So we can create the workflow as well. Suppose I am creating one flow that need to be approved by someone, approved by my manager. After that only I can take the action. So that thing, instead of using the Power Automate or combination of Power Apps, Power Automate, earlier we were doing this using the Power Apps, Power Automate, but we can provide the same type of functionality here only using the Power BI and the Fabric combination. So this is the game changer.
Well, I honestly, I'm super excited about that. Your entire point of, um, uh, like, this doesn't have an additional licensing cost is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if a company already had Power Apps and Power Automate, great, no problem. You could put that in. There was still some like back and forth, right? Like you'd have to enter the data into the Power App. It'd have to write. It'd have to then trigger a refresh. Like that refresh would have to occur, and then it would be available in Power BI. So I mean, you can make it work, right? And it worked, but there was a delay and there was a cost to it. So it was prohibitive for a lot of companies to go down this path. Now, this one with Fabric is in your experience, Prachi, what's is there additional cost to this? What's the overhead
No,
like?
no, there is no overhead. This is backed by only one capacity, only the Fabric capacity. This is the beauty of Fabric capacity. Because I want to add one point here.
Yeah.
Here we don't need to add any cost. Like there is no, like in the Azure Data Factory, the auto integration will take time. In the Databricks, the
Mm.
cluster will take time, like
Yep.
more than 5 minutes. Here, nothing. We just need to set up. We need to create the function. We need to back up. Like we need to create the flow like this. The
Mm.
zero delay. If the developer is interested, they can do this. I believe maybe less than 30 minutes. The basic flow can create.
Mm. 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 That is just awesome. 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 All right. Sorry. We'll go back to your desktop here, and we can keep going
Yeah.
through this.
So why this is revolutionary? Because here, as I already told, we can do the action. We can, for example, I take the example for the sales and target. I can update my target, and this is very fast in response. Here, I see earlier if we were using the two different system, the Power BI and the Power Apps. There is in under the same platform with two different systems. There will be context switching. I need to go to this server, like in the back end, that will go to Power BI and then go back to Power Apps. Here there is no context switch. Here is under the one lake only everything. The
Mm.
Fabric and the Power BI both are under the same platform. So there is so the gap is less here. So the six game changing capabilities here, we can record the data record modification. We can make,
Mm.
we can changes, we can edit our current data as well. Like if I need to edit, suppose I have a table, I have the for this particular product I have this percent of discount. If I want to edit the discount, I can edit the discount value as well.
Mm.
I can
Mm.
add the data in the real time. I can update the data. I can even delete the data as well. And the dynamic notification also, I already talked about that. We can set the notification as well. We can send the mail and take the approval. We can do the custom API integration as well. We can connect and did the custom integration.
Gosh, I would.
Wow.
Well, are you gonna? How much of this are you gonna be able to show us today? I mean, we only have 25 minutes, or I'm sorry, 35 minutes here or so. Like, I really am interested in like actually getting into the guts of it. Like, where are you writing to? How is the report working and functioning? Because while I understand at a macro level, like translytical flows, like the guts of it. I'm still a noob on.
Yeah,
Can you explain this to me?
sure. So today I prepare a very simple demo because I want to come again in your live stream for the demo too. So let me show the prerequisite. So
Okay.
as we all know, the like we need the fabric capacity. The
Hmm.
trial capacity also will work, and for that the here I will use the SQL database, fabric
Mm.
SQL database, but we can use the lakehouse as well. There is no because this is the fabric is releasing a lot of updates, so we can use the lakehouse as well, and the appropriate permissions in our tenant setting. In the tenant setting, we need to allow the user defined function. We need to enable the fabric database as well. So those are the prerequisites. And how the implementation will work. So we need the three things. The first thing is store the data, because where for 2 big system we will store our data. Second, we will create the user defined user data function where we will write the logic to to insert, to update, or to delete the whatever functionality we want. And then the third thing is the visualization, the analytical part. So let me show you the demo. So
Wow,
as
that's
I was very, I was very fascinating about the Microsoft Fabric conferences and the Microsoft Fabric. So I want to create the event manager using the Translytical Task Flow only. And as I think we all went to the Europe conference, and there we saw the current Europe conference use the Cvent app. So that is different. So why Microsoft is using the other software, Cvent app, or the other app as well? Microsoft is already a big tool. So we can use the Microsoft Fabric to create the agenda as well. So that is in my agenda. I did not complete that. Maybe in the part two, we can show how we can do the event management thing. But here I am showing you the basic example. So what I am trying to do here. So as I told you, let me show you, give you the example. Like in the Power Apps, a user will there will be sign in option, like user need the license. So here I can design the system in a manner using the Power BI row level security. I can only give the access for that flow, for that panel where user can add, delete, or edit the data. So using
Mm.
the row level security, I can manage that. So for that I need to create the sign in panel as well, where user can sign in, and then based on that they can see the data. So let me show you here. So here what I use, this is my sign up page. So here I added the text slicer. So here in the Power BI, we need the two things: the text slicer to write our input, and the second is the button. And in the button, we will add the functionality. We will call our user data function. So here I just drag and drop the simple text slicer, and the settings I did, the placeholder I updated. I want to enter for the user, enter your email ID, and this is the background design that I added did using the graphics. And here this is button. This is just the blank button I take. So in that, the action property,
Mm.
earlier we have the back option, bookmark option, drill through, page navigation. We don't have the data function. So if you see in the bottom, the data function is just added once the
Mm.
transcritical task flow announced.
okay.
So this is the game changer. This is the beauty of Microsoft Fabric.
All right.
So
So when
yes,
the user pushes that button, that's when that data function is called, right?
yes,
Okay. Can you show us what that function looks like?
yes. So let me show you. So here you can see, yeah. So here you can see, yeah, let me show you.
Oh my.
So
Okay.
how I created the function. Let me show you then. The new item, I click on the new item.
Hello, computer.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Then I create the new data function, the user data function.
Okay.
Using this, I create that function. Yeah. So we have that artifact. So let me go back to the function that I already created. So this function also I did not write completely. This is the beauty of Microsoft Fabric. I don't need to write everything. Like here you can see, like we can generate the code. We can generate the code here in the library. Here, like we can see and we can use that code. Here you can see
Okay.
the basic syntax of the code. We can see and we can use that. And the main logic that I want to implement. As here, what I want the user, like I am just providing the input where user can enter their email. So here I modify this function. So as for the storage, I am using the Fabric SQL database. So in that, I created one table, the user table, where I am storing the user ID and the user email. And in this function, if you see here, I am just like inserting, like because this is my just the simple panel to submit my email ID. So I am just added the query,
Mm.
insert into user table and what values I want to I'm just passing the parameter and inserting the value in my user table. And before that, because see, first we need to create the Fabric SQL database, and then like I created once it created the user table, and before like writing this logic, like I am writing the logic here, I need to do the changes. I need to connect with my SQL endpoint as well. So here in the user data function, I go to the settings, then go to the manage connection, and here I added my data source where I want to
Mm.
store, write, or read the data, like the insert, update, delete the data. So here I need to do the connection. So right now I am using the SQL database. So I added that connection. If I want to use the lakehouse, that connection I can also add that here. So here I give the alias name is SQL DB. So using this name, I am calling in my function.
Okay.
Yeah. So here I am calling,
And I
like
see
creating the
inside
connection here.
here on line 23, you're even able to put in a
Yes.
validation. Yeah. Right.
Yes, right. So this is the custom logic. So this logic I created. Like if you see line number this to this is the business logic that I write. Like based on the requirement, like I write it. I want just to enter the email ID and I want to cross check as well. Did user enter the correct email address or not? Or they just did the corrupted email address. And the second point, here I am validating the duplicacy of the email ID as well. If the email IDs already exist, it will not store that. It will not submit that record. It will throw the error.
Oh, that's fascinating. You're able to do quite a bit of like validation and checking here before that data gets inserted in, huh?
Yes, 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 yes. Here I am checking it if the user is already exist, and based on that, I am just passing I am sending the mail. I am
Mm.
I am displaying the message. So user already exists, cannot create.
I love it. This is great. So
I think
you create this in Fabric.
The connections
You
make it so easy. You don't have to use PyODBC. You don't have to write your connection
Correct.
strings. You can just add the Fabric items and then reference them by name. It makes it very
Yes.
simple.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
I
a
like
lot
this quite a
easier.
bit. Yeah. Andrew, have you tried this yet?
No, I've only seen the demos, so I'm very excited to see this for the first time.
And that message, so I mean you're putting out messages there at the end of that. That gets
Yes.
returned to the Power BI report as well.
Yes, this will display in the Power BI when I will click on the submit. So let me show you in the
Awesome.
Power BI. Yes, so here let me put the ID that is already, let me create one new ID and then we'll show the So here if you see now, because I type the value, then I click on enter, and you can see the submit button is enabled. Before that, it was disabled because we enter the value in the input box. So now I click on the submit.
Okay, so this is calling that function, right?
Yes, and here you can see the message. The user created successfully. So this message I type in my function.
Wow, I like this quite a bit. This really gives me a boost. I'm excited about this. Like, this is a legitimate thing that is, deeply
simple
integrated.
function, but that's a really powerful.
Yeah. I like this quite a bit. Can you show us that the value's in the table now?
Yes. So currently we have these 3 records only. Let me refresh it. Can you see?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done. This is fantastic. And it's so in your report, do you have a direct query on top of your report that shows this information? Is
Yeah,
that how
this
you
is
do that?
connected with correct. Connected with direct link, not the direct query. Direct link.
Okay, so
Yes.
explain
My
this to me.
model
So
is
you're
like
using SQL Server, or
yes.
you're using Fabric SQL DB, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, and you're writing into the database, but your
Yes.
analytics are coming off of OneLake. How can you do that?
We can do that.
But
Yeah.
how does
So
that
yeah.
data get into OneLake? You put in the SQL DB. How does it get into OneLake?
Yeah. So I connected with the Fabric SQL DB. So as we connect with the lake house, so I created that more like the simple. Let me show you.
Oh, okay, you're gonna go back and show me.
Yeah, I go to the OneLake catalog
Mm-hmm.
and just connected with my SQL database.
Okay.
And the SQL database I already created, and the table I already created, and yeah.
Okay, and you have a live connection to the SQL database through here, right?
Correct. Right. Right.
Okay, so you're using the OneLake catalog. You're not going directly to OneLake in the Delta files. Is that right?
Correct. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. All right. I thought I was missing something there. It'd be great if you could do that too. I didn't. I just want to clarify how this was working. Well, this
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Instead of SQL database, we can use the lakehouse as well.
You can. You can write an
Yes.
insert into a lakehouse.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought Translytical Flows was capped or limited to Fabric SQL DB, but you're saying it Lakehouse works too. Can you do that for
Yes.
what about warehouses?
Yeah, for warehouse as well, we can do, because when this translytical task flow it's announced, at that time we can do with the SQL database only, but now we can do with the lakehouse and warehouse as well.
Oh, really? Okay, that's awesome.
Yes.
Jack's got a question from you. He wants to know realistically how much data can be written on a submission.
Yeah. So that thing. This is completely based on the see here we need to select the data point corresponding which data point we want to insert our value. So here this is my the demo that I show you. This is just the entry. So the table that I created in my warehouse, the length of the string, it depend on that. If my length is 100 character, then I created the table in the SQL database. So if my depend on the length of that column that I of that field that I define. So if defined 8,000, then it will accept the 8,000 characters.
Okay, that's fair enough. Divanshu boy, maybe I'm closer not on that one. He wanted to know what can we connect to make this work. It's databases, lakehouse, and warehouse, right?
Yes, yes, yes. The Fabric SQL database lakehouse warehouse. Yes.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And then Neha's asking, how does import mode limit the effectiveness of translytical task flows compared to direct query or live connections?
Yeah. So for the direct, this is connected with direct query. So we
Mm-hmm.
can see immediately. For the import mode, we need to refresh it. Maybe
Right.
for that, what we can do? Because the same question I was thinking when I was preparing this. Because earlier we were using the Power Automate to
Mm-hmm.
Power Automate and do the refresh thing. But here we have the user defined function and we have the property. So in the user defined function, we can like this. I think I need to do the practical implement. But in the user defined function, we can call our pipeline. That pipeline will have the activity refresh the semantic model. So
Hmm.
using this way, we can make it work in this platform all in the with the import mode report. So we
Oh,
can
and
add
so
that.
if you could call, so you're saying the user defined function calls a
Yes,
pipeline that refreshes the semantic model, right?
yes, right.
Well, and that means if you're calling a pipeline, you could call semantic link labs to refresh a
Yes,
partition in an individual table, so
yeah,
that even that refresh could be incredibly small and very efficient there as well, right?
right, right. This
Hmm.
was not earlier. So in the mic now we have that feature.
Wow. Um, so it works natively without having to do all that stuff if you have direct lake or a direct query. But if you want to build out those more advanced pipelines for a larger, more complex model, you could do that as well, huh?
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, what limitations have you seen as you're working with this Prachi, um, that we should be aware of? Like Andrew runs a large platform, a large organization where a lot of their departments really rely upon what he's building and doing. What should Andrew be aware of as he starts to work with user-defined functions of potential limitations?
Yeah. So as I started, so I did not like I'm very fascinating about it. So I did not
Mhm.
feel the limitation. Maybe the other person will feel the limitation. But the one thing, can I show my? Can you share my? Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back right to it.
Yeah. So the simple limitation I feel as a developer, because here I need to enter. Like if you see here, I type
Hmm.
the value. So here I need to put the enter. I don't want to enter like immediately as in the website. The we can see the immediate thing without clicking engine. Just the button should enable. So here also if we have that functionality, and the second thing also we
Mm.
need to select the data point. So we need to select the data point. The value will be updated corresponding to that data point. So that
Mm.
thing I feel. So like this can be considered as pawns as well as the pawns, because definitely I need to update the value corresponding to some value. I don't want to update that value for my all pointers, my all product categories. I want to update the value for particular product only. So for that case this is good. But for the large where we have lot of things, there maybe we can deal this with differently with the combination of Power BI DAX and with the user data function. So let me show you, because this is in the progress. So here, if you see here, what challenge I feel, I want to do the event management. So I have the agenda list and I want to add that agenda
Oh.
against my user. So I will create the user. So for that user can add add the session information, add like these session information to their agenda. So here what I need to do, I need to select that data point. Like here I need to, from this list I need to select it, and then I can, so here what I feel like when I was designing this, as so I think someone asked the question of the limitation. So here the text is too long. The like there is no backend. So instead of like I selected the data point, so I use the combination, I use the DEX combination. So based on whatever I selected, here we can see the session code. In the you can see it in the tab 2, the
Okay.
session
Yep.
code is 20. Let me select the different one. So here we can see the session code is 17. So this session code the user need to add, and then they can add to this session in their agenda, and they can add it and they can delete as
Okay. That makes sense. And I mean, we are talking. This has just come out, so I get these limitations
well. Yeah,
could exist and whatnot.
yeah.
Jared, Andrew.
Sorry to interrupt. Limitation depend on the business need. So
Yeah.
like see why I am feeling this translytical task flow is good with respect to the business where the trickle operation need to be performed. So let me give you the example. So like we have the sensor information. So in the sensor information, if something is like we are getting the alert from the sensor that is ingesting in my database, but
Hmm.
some alert are maintained by like or highlighted by some manual some man human power, some manpower. So they recognize that yeah, this is something happening with the sensor. So those are not sent by my sensor device, those are
Hmm.
highlighted by that person that are in that area. So that I need to log that sensor information, I need to log. So for that I can write like this is the live example. So we build the like this type of activity, we build the activity logger, we build in the power apps,
Mm.
and our data is storing in our warehouse because we cannot write that using the SQL endpoint, we cannot write in the lakehouse at that time. So we did in the fabric warehouse. So everything is going fine, but as like we are frequently inserting, we are logging the record. So we are hitting the capacity because warehouse is not able to handle the trickle operation.
Mhm.
Like our capacity is exceeding, and we reach out to Microsoft support as well, and they said because you are performing the trickle operation, so the warehouse will be exceeded because the SQL query, SQL statement ID will be generated, and this will hit like we embed the Power Apps in the Power BI, and
Mm.
we are just logging then it is hitting to the like storing and the data our we are doing the submit, then submit will be redirect to the Power Automate flow, then it will refresh the data, then we will be able to see that record. So the trickle operation will be happening. So I feel if for those cases, for those small cases where we need to perform frequently the trickle operations, we need to go with this with that, like we can see the result frequently, and the case as you said in the semantic model, we can refresh particular set of particular table. We don't
Mm.
need to refresh my other table as so we can refresh our activity logger table only. We don't need to refresh our main sensor table that have the main data like our sensor data, not the activity data. So so this I feel because we did not get any solution from Microsoft for that. They
Yeah.
just suggested increase the capacity. So but the client don't want to purchase the capacity. So this will be the best option for that. So we can replace the existing system with this transcritical task.
I think that's just fantastic. Uh, Jared, Andrew, um, what opportunities do you see for using this in your organization or in your work that you're doing today?
I actually, I was curious about this at least when I initially heard the announcement, but I wanted to see Prachi's take on it. And the big use case I know that we have right now is for organizations who like doing metadata-driven architectures for dynamically processing data, this seems like if you manage the metadata within Fabric SQL database, this gives you a really simple front end to enter in and manage that metadata versus just writing insert statements, update statements, delete statements, which you can do that. But this seems like a much simpler approach to perform the same operations. And they're like, you could open up the doors more widely to a larger audience managing the metadata because, as you showed in their project, the UDF can have controls built in place so that people can't do things that don't make sense in the metadata. This is I have a opportunity right now that would genuinely significantly benefit from this right now.
Exactly the same here, Jared. Like a front end for metadata driven orchestration was the first thing that came to my mind. I'm thinking about other things like letting users refresh, update a target value, refresh a partition, call an API. So we see some anomaly in some device data. We want to go open a work order in one of our systems. We could do that with an API call. I mean, I think the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I like that second one too, Andrew. Like the feedback loop. Seeing something like this directly in a report and saying, like, if you see something that doesn't look right, like put in some information into this box here, hit submit, and that gets routed to somebody who can help either explain what you're seeing as far as the data in your report or can investigate where data might be amiss.
From an enterprise BI side, you could think of like a link to submit a ticket. Like, hey, we got an issue with the report. We're going to go open up a ticket.
Well, and Andrew, I'm going to propose that is, and this is my challenge for everyone watching. The first use case we have for Translytical Flows is to create a ticket for ourselves when our users have an issue with a BI report, so that we learn how this works. We learn how to call the APIs. We learn the challenges of working with this, and then we look at using it for more broader solutions like you're describing. Because, as you said, the ability to create a ticket or get someone to take an action from data is the ultimate ask that we have had for the nearly 30 years I've been working in data, right? Is like we want the data to drive us. This is our mechanism that's going to allow us to do it. We need to be the ones who are driving our work through the data before anyone else, so we understand how it functions and works. So this is just fantastic. Oh, good. We're nearing the end of our live stream. Prachi, is there anything else you wanted to show us before we wrap these things up?
Yes, I want to just show the duplicate use case. So here I
Okay.
entered the same value that I already
Mhm.
entered. So I'm just clicking on the submit and here the message will be displayed.
Oh, and you set that message in the Fabric user defined function, right?
Yes, right.
Gosh, this is fantastic. So it's not some generic Microsoft 0x00 error that nobody knows or understands. It's it's an actual error message that we can give our users, and we can pass some details on that. Oh, that's awesome.
You could code a random message in there if you truly wanted to,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
for nostalgia's sake.
Just because I love my 0x00 messages so much that
The best error message, unknown error.
yeah, right. Oh, fantastic, Prachi. This is wonderful. Now, my last question for you on this. So this came out. You said you're going to take this on. How long did this take you to develop this solution? Was this a 6 hours problem? Was it a 6-day, 6-week, or 6-month effort to build out this translytical flow?
This is less than 1 hour.
Shut the front door.
Yes, this is less than 1 hour, and before that also I did the add and delete thing that I did in, I think, 30 minutes only. That was not in the, like, look and feel is not good, because
Mhm.
at that time, on the, I think, in the mid of June or mid of May, this was announced, and at that time I want to implement, and the Sunday I did, like, I was engaged in something, I did not get chance to implement. So on Monday morning I just keep my hands in it, and in 30, like, in, I think, 30 to 45 minutes I was able to do that.
Wow.
I created the database, like, at that time I use the big picture, the sales data I bring, and then I add that category.
Yeah, I mean, this is just absolutely fantastic. Great job. Less than an hour of development. Now, Prachi's pretty smart. I'm going to say give yourself 6 hours to figure out all these components. Uh, this feels a little more effort. So if it takes you more than an hour, don't like throw up your hands and call it a day. But this is fantastic. Awesome. 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 Awesome.
Man, this is,
Thank
oh
you.
gosh, the brain is running with so many ideas of like things that I want to do now, but time. Oh,
Oh, just okay. This is great, Prachi. All right. Well, we are at time. So Prachi, if someone saw this and was like, "Hey, I want to get a hold of you. I've got questions. I want to get Dream IT to assist with this." Where would they go for help and assistance?
Yeah, so they can reach out to my Mighty director Rajan sir, and they can reach out to our super director. The lady boss is our super director, so they can reach out to our lady director Anu ma'am. They can reach out to, like, anyone, the Dream IT member, anyone. They can reach out to me as well.
Awesome. 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 Now, do you? I saw you post about this, and that's how I got connected with you. Do you speak or do anything else out there that where people could see you?
uh I can do this. I'm like, I'm not, like, I'm just doing speaking here as well in our local, because I'm from India, so in our local seminar as well. So virtually I'm speaking. Yeah, if someone want, yeah, definitely I will do.
Well, Prachi, you carried yourself like you do this on a very regular basis. So, excellent job, great job there. Thank you very much for joining us today, Jared, Andrew. Great to have you on the panel today. Thank you for your feedback and joining and chiming in. This has been fantastic. Um, Andrew, we're gonna give, or do you want the word out as your parting words today for us?
Sure. Yeah. So I would say set aside a Friday afternoon or a Saturday, give yourself some time and go and develop something with translytical task flows. I think this is going to be really useful for all of us.
I absolutely love it. Thank you guys all so much for joining us today. And Jared said it right in the chat. You guys have the best day ever. Peace.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Baker Tilly Digital combines strategic industry insight and advanced technical expertise to uncover and solve your digital transformation challenges. If you're interested in learning more, check out our website at bakertilly.com/digital.